Under the scorching sun of Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization, in the lands breathed into life by the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, one of history's oldest and philosophically most complex belief systems was born. The Sumerians believed that everything, from the boundless blue of the sky to the fertile soil of the earth, was bound to an absolute divine order, the will of the gods. However, this ancient pantheon did not consist solely of luminous, creative, and celestial figures. In Sumerian cosmology, just as life was vibrant and dynamic, death was an equally dark, inevitable, and bleak reality. The afterlife lacked the modern concept of a heaven or hell where the good are rewarded and the wicked punished. The underworld, which the Sumerians called Kur, or Irkalla, was a colossal realm of shadows where kings and slaves were equalized in status, where souls consumed dust for food and drank mud instead of water, where sunlight never penetrated, and from which there was no return. The absolute authority over this vast, dark domain rested in the hands of two mighty figures who operated entirely independently of the sky god's rules, bound only by their own unshakable laws. Welcome to the In the Shadow of the Myths channel. In this documentary, we delve into the theological depths of two of the darkest, most terrifying, yet utterly captivating figures of Mesopotamian mythology: Ereshkigal, the uncompromising queen of the underworld, and Nergal, the lord of war, plague, and destruction, guided by the light of historical cuneiform tablets. Ereshkigal, the queen of the underworld and the absolute ruler of darkness. Ereshkigal is the sole and absolute queen of the underworld, a figure in the Sumerian pantheon who is deeply revered, yet one whom people hope to avoid rather than pray to. Her name in Sumerian literally translates to Queen of the Great Earth, or Lady of the Great Place. According to ancient Mesopotamian belief, the cosmos was divided into three realms: heaven, An, earth, Ki, and the underworld, Kur. Ereshkigal's domain forms the lowest tier of this cosmic structure, the foundation where all things come to an end. She does not represent pure evil or demonic intent, rather she is the ultimate guardian of cosmic balance, the cycle of life, and the immutable laws of death. The constitution in Ereshkigal's kingdom is singular and absolute. No entity that steps foot into Irkalla, the underworld, may ever return to the realm of the living, regardless of their status, power, or divine origin. The literary text where we most clearly witness the limits of Ereshkigal's authority and her uncompromising nature is one of the ancient world's most famous legends, the myth of Inanna's descent into the underworld. Her ambitious sister Inanna, known in Akkadian as Ishtar, the goddess of heaven, fertility, love, and war, descends into Ereshkigal's realm, unsatisfied with her celestial power and desiring to subjugate the underworld as well. However, in this dark facet of the universe, Ereshkigal grants not the slightest privilege, even to the most powerful goddess of the sky. She enforces her own laws to the letter. She decrees that, as Inanna passes through the 7 gates of the underworld, she must surrender all her divine powers, her titles, and her protective jewelry to the gatekeepers, piece by piece. When Inanna finally reaches her sister's throne room, she is completely naked, stripped of her glory, and utterly defenseless. Ereshkigal turns the lethal gaze of the 7 judges of the underworld, the Anunnaki, upon her. The Queen of Heaven is instantly transformed into a corpse and hung on a meat hook. This striking myth proves that Ereshkigal's power in the underworld is entirely independent of and absolutely beyond the reach of the Olympian or Mesopotamian sky gods. She is the living constitution of the underworld. Her rules do not bend, she accepts no bribes, and she harbors no mercy. Ereshkigal's existence serves as a profound and terrifying philosophical reminder to Sumerian society of the irreversible finality of death. Nergal, the wrathful god of war, plague, and the underworld. The second great ruler of the underworld, Nergal, possesses a nature that is vastly different from his wife Ereshkigal. He is dynamic, impulsive, and immensely destructive. When delving into his etymological and theological origins, Nergal was initially worshipped as a solar deity. However, in the Mesopotamian geography, the sun does not always bestow life, light, and abundance. During the most arid months of summer, the scorching midday sun withers the crops, cracks the earth, brings famine, and directly causes death. Nergal is the personification of this blistering, annihilating, fatal summer sun. Over time, this relentless and destructive nature elevated him to the position of the chief god of war, bloodshed, plagues, pestilence, and sudden death. Particularly during the Akkadian and Babylonian periods, he was equated with Era, the god of destruction and massacre, and was held solely responsible for the mass casualties on battlefields and the fatal epidemics spreading through cities. Nergal's primary cult center was the city of Kutha, which in mythology was regarded as one of the main gates through which souls transitioned into the underworld. So, how did an active deity of celestial origin associated with the sun and scorching heat become the dark king of the underworld and the consort of Ereshkigal? The answer to this theological transformation lies in the myth of Nergal and Ereshkigal, which is also found among the Amarna tablets. According to cuneiform texts, the sky gods Anu, Enlil, and Ea, Enki, organize a grand banquet in the heavens. Since Ereshkigal cannot step into the light by the rules of the underworld, she sends her Grand Vizier, Namtar, as an envoy to attend on her behalf and collect her portion of the feast. While all the gods stand up to show respect to Namtar, who represents the might of the underworld, only the warrior and arrogant Nergal refuses to rise. This act is a grave insult to the absolute authority of the underworld. Upon learning of this, Ereshkigal flies into a terrifying rage and demands that Nergal be brought down to her realm to be executed. Before descending into Irkalla, Nergal follows the cunning advice of the wise god Ea and takes with him 14 demons representing diseases, fevers, and disasters. When he reaches the underworld, he stations these demons at the gates, storms straight into Ereshkigal's throne room, grabs her by the hair, and throws her from her throne. Just as he is about to kill her, Ereshkigal tearfully pleads for her life. In exchange, she offers Nergal the kingship of the underworld, her hand in marriage, and shared dominion over the tablets of destiny. Nergal accepts this offer, and the two begin to co-rule the underworld. This mythological marriage carries a tremendous philosophical and theological subtext. The union of Nergal and Ereshkigal represents a cosmic convergence, the active masculine force signifying sudden, violent, and unpredictable death, such as war, plague, and murder, joining with the passive, static feminine force representing death itself, the earth, and the eternal end. While Nergal unleashes disasters upon the earth and dispatches souls to the underworld, Ereshkigal remains the warden of the system where those souls will reside for eternity. Irkalla, the lightless, dusty, and irreversible underworld of ancient Mesopotamia, is a literary reflection of humanity's helplessness in the face of death, our primal fears, and the unshakable laws of cosmic order. Ereshkigal's uncompromising justice, merciless laws, and absolute power underscore the inevitability of death and the reality that every living creature will ultimately become one with the earth, the great place. Nergal's scorching wrath, his massacres on the battlefields, and his invisible plagues serve as a harrowing reminder to humanity of just how fragile life is and how suddenly and violently death can strike. These two formidable and terrifying gods stand as the most tangible philosophical symbols of the Sumerians' respect for nature, their submission in the face of disaster, and their deep-seated effort to comprehend the dark side of the universe. In Irkalla, souls may be condemned to silence and dust, yet the legends of those who rule that realm of shadows have continued to echo in the human mind and captivate us since the dawn of civilization. In this episode of In the Shadow of the Myths, we cracked open the dusty gates of the underworld kingdom, a place even the gods hesitated to tread, and examine the co-rulers of the darkness in all their raw power. Until we meet in our next documentary, where we will continue to bring forgotten truths from the depths of mythology, ancient history, and legend to the light of day, never stray from the illumination of reason and mystery.